Hi guys, today I want to talk about Wetfire Tinder from Ultimate Survival Technologies. It's a chemical tinder that will help you build a fire in the rainiest of conditions. In fact, its main strength is that it purports to be able to be lit even when it's wet. So today I'm going to put that to the test. Now, in terms of weight, the packaging claims 5.67 grams or 0.2 ounces per cube. And I have 5 grams, which is 0.1 ounces. That's probably down to the accuracy of the scale, so it looks like the packaging isn't lying. Always good to know. Okay, now to prepare the block for being lit with a spark from a fire steel, they recommend that you actually shave a small amount off, which will be more susceptible to taking a spark. So let's try that. It's got like a waxy texture, certainly nicer than the hexamine blocks that I've used before, which I'm really not a fan of at all because they're such horrible fumes that you get off them and they're a real pain in the butt to light. And obviously I'm comparing fuel to tinder here, but with it being a chemical, I think the comparison stands. Okay, so we've got a good amount. I mean, it breaks off like wax as well. It shows very brittle, shows nicely. You know, so if you were in a hurry, the preparation time would be very, very minimal. Okay, so let's take it outside and see if it takes. Let's see how well it takes a spark. Okay, so let's see if we can get it going with a spark. There we go. That went up pretty easily. That was more down to my poor technique than the fact that it wasn't been catching from a spark. Okay, so that's the fire aspect of the Wetfire Tinder tested. Now let's try the wet aspect. Now, it's 34 degrees Celsius here in Ontario, so I'm afraid I'm going to have to simulate rainfall with my trusty water bottle. Give it a good soaking. Now let's see if we can get it to go up. Again, it's just a spark even though it's now wet. Lots of sizzling, but no burning. Lots of sparks landing on there. I think the answer has to be a resounding no. I mean, to be fair, it does say on the package that it works on wet surfaces. It doesn't claim to work when it's wet. But I was always hoping that, heard such great things about this that it would actually work when it was wet as well. But unfortunately not. So let's take some of the dry Wetfire Tinder and just crumple it up and place it on the wet surface. And see if we can get the dry tinder on the damp surface going. There we go, sparks straight away. So I guess as long as the tinder itself isn't damp, you shouldn't have any problems. like I said, so it works as advertised. Good to know. So there we have it. It does exactly what it says on the tin. You can use it to light a fire even when it's wet. Now, personally, I wouldn't use it for fire lighting all the time, because I prefer to keep my bushcraft skills up to date and only use natural materials for starting a fire. I don't want to be relying on a chemical tinder that will run out or that I may not even have on me at the time. So I much prefer to use the natural resources at hand. Having said that, I would probably keep a couple of cubes in my burden for emergency use only, like in case of emergency break glass kind of item. If it's absolutely pouring it down in rain and you want to get a fire going ASAP and you don't necessarily want or have the time to prepare properly to start a fire in wet conditions, then that's exactly what this kind of thing is used for as far as I'm concerned. Well, thanks for watching. I hope you found this useful. As always, any questions, queries, problems, feel free to drop them on line. Cheers.